Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of, the mic's a little hot. Welcome to another edition of Rob's Little Blue Book. And tonight, I think it's the first bi-weekly stream since on the new schedule, although maybe that was technically 2 weeks ago. Doesn't matter. Welcome. And we have a whole bunch of stuff tonight. I'm going to be a little all over the place. We have, hey Serena. We have two cool things to deal with. We're going to do a cocktail. I got a couple of tips for you, and we're doing a really fun dish that is really easy to make and quite delicious. So let's do the cocktail first, and with the cocktail comes one of the tips. And it sort of came out of, so you guys, I'm blaming this on you guys because I have all these weird alcohol, like liquors left over from various streams because I do a cocktail that calls for, in this case, this is cognac I'm looking at right here. And let me switch over here. And I don't drink a lot of cognac. It's quite nice, but it's not like one of my go-tos. So I'm trying to think of ways, I was trying to think of ways to use up, hey Rebecca. Trying to think of ways to use up these drinks. And I already knew this, but I want to kind of go over this with you guys again. You can take any of the classic cocktails, whether it's an old-fashioned or any of the Collins drinks. In this case, it's going to be a Negroni, but it could be a Sidecar, it could be a Sazerac. Doesn't matter. You can take any of those drinks and replace the base liquor, the base alcohol. So in the case of an old-fashioned, they're normally done with bourbon, but you can make any alcohol into an old-fashioned, and it's still going to taste pretty good. In this case, I'm going to do a cognac Negroni. And honestly, I forget what the base spirit in a Negroni, the original, actually is, which is a little embarrassing, but whatever, I'm getting older. So the other thing, okay, so here's the other thing too. Quite often, when you read up like where these are actually produced, this is a very fine cognac. Like this is Maison Gaultier. I really like this one. But the interesting thing is, as I was doing research for these different cocktails, and this one you just build over ice, which makes it really nice for like a weeknight. This is Campari, of course, and we're going to use a little red vermouth, equal parts. But when I was doing the research for this drink, I discovered that the locals who live near wherever this cognac is made, their preferred way of drinking it is over ice with ginger ale or 7-Up, which I just think is like hilarious. And it just goes to show you that you don't have to, you can start with an amazing ingredient and there's nothing wrong. Like throw it over ice with a little soda or tonic or 7-Up. Or it was actually, no, it wasn't 7-Up, it was Mountain Dew. They mix it with Mountain Dew. I mean, how bad can that be? I'm not a big Mountain Dew fan, but anyway, cheers. I want to get rolling. So the tip for this week, or this first tip, is simply that you can make up your own cocktails relatively easily using whatever you have on hand. A lot of these recipes have stood the test of time, but you can mess around with the base spirit. Cheers. Also, a Negroni makes a wonderful aperitif, which is why I'm drinking it. It's quite bitter. Hey, Danny. Yes, I don't know if you missed the little spiel on the cocktails. This is a cognac Negroni. So, Danny, Ellie, oh my God. Sorry, I'm reading your name. You're a little later to the stream. I used to do a cocktail every single week for stream, and I stopped, honestly, partly because I stopped for a couple of reasons. First of all, there's only so many classic cocktails you can do, and I didn't want to just, we got to the point where I was doing, what was the absolutely horrid concoction? The Texas tea. And so it got to the point where I was like making swamp water cocktails, and so I decided to stop. It also got to the point where my bar cart was so... Yeah, no, I agree, Serena. My bar cart got so overloaded. I had so many bottles of alcohol, I couldn't possibly drink them all, which is one of the reasons I'm trying to like come up with these niche cocktails just to use it up. if you have a bar, having a giant bottle of vermouth and Campari on hand is fantastic. It's less good when there's just two of you, and Serena doesn't really drink like hard alcohol cocktails. So there you go. This is really delicious. I haven't done a cocktail in ages, so there you go. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about before we get rolling is second tip, or the first cool thing. So the first cool thing is not this, and you guys have seen me use this before. This, of course, was from my bar cart, right? This is a Glenfiddich bottle. Yeah, this is a mini Glenfiddich bottle, and I've got the spout. And I use these. I have a whole bunch of these, or I had. This one's got rice vinegar in it. I have these by the stove, and I just use them for cooking because it's always good to have them on hand. The disadvantage of these guys is the tops get gummed up over time and they don't seal. And while I do like to keep a clean kitchen, and Serena, you can stay out of that part, it got to be a hassle. You got to soak them in boiling water, ungum them. They don't seal, so it's exposed to the air. And I just wasn't thrilled with the way this is working out. I think the idea is really cool, and I really like the idea of repurposing something that was otherwise going to go into a landfill or be recycled, I guess. But we all know recycling is kind of a joke. So I was looking for solutions. And most chefs use squeeze bottles, right? And so I got a squeeze bottle, and I got this from the dollar store, and it's pretty shitty. It doesn't have a lot of substance. It's really soft. It doesn't seal particularly well. And it had a little cap, which I instantly lost because it's not attached. And so for a while I gave up on squeeze bottles, but I thought like they must make good squeeze bottles, right? Turns out they do. I'll show you. So here you go. This is where I got to. This is the OXO Good Grips squeeze bottle. This thing is $7 for one. And I know you're thinking like, who would spend $7 on a squeeze bottle? Well, I would. And I kind of recommend you do too. This thing is bomb-proof. It's nice and sturdy. It's got measurements on the side, which I will never use. But the top seals really, really well. But all that is great, and all of that you expect in a squeeze bottle. I got my fancy label on here. I have soy in this one. But the thing I love about this one is the way, and I didn't, when I ordered this, I had no idea that this was the thing I was going to love the most, is the top, the cap. So this cap, let me just show you guys. How do I show you guys? Like this. Okay. You can it just pops off with one thing, and you can squeeze it. And then to recap, if you just grab the side here, it just pops back on. This is one-handed, seamless. It's exactly what you want to have by the side of the stove when you're stirring with something else. There's no two-handed, and now it's harder to do with two hands, which is awesome. I don't love all the OXO products. They started off great. They made some really neat, like they were like Starfrit, right? Like they started off with some solid designs and some good ingenuity, and then they got big and made a version of everything. And some of the versions just weren't better than the thing they were trying to compete with, or they were worse. In this particular case, I really like these. Cool thing number one. I'm not going to use soy tonight. I just want to show you guys. Okay, and I'm going to go right into the second cool thing so I can knock cool things off the list for tonight. And so I know we said we were going to do African tonight, last week, or 2 weeks ago. We talked about that. But I made it as far as Lebanon. I was doing my research, and I always do my research in geographical order. So I start at home and I work out through all the cuisines across the world relative to my location here in Toronto. And so, of course, I hit Lebanon first. And actually, none of that's true, but it's kind of funny, isn't it, to think about it that way. But I really, I did get sidetracked, but not by Lebanon. I got sidetracked by this thing I saw on YouTube. This is a falafel press. And Serena and I both have a love for single-use, single-purpose appliances. Single-purpose, I guess. But this guy's awesome. You just pull the thing back, scoop in your falafel mix. You'll see in a sec how it works, and you let it go, and it shoots out the falafel. This is awesome. And another tip, I wanted to... So I buy a lot of stuff from Amazon. But Amazon is a huge I'm not throwing shade at you. This is being inclusive, and I'm actually throwing shade at myself because I know things like this aren't like 100% practical, but I love kitchen gadgets. So you definitely don't need one of these. You could just roll it up like the way I do meatballs with your hands. You could use a spoon. You could use an ice cream scoop, which we don't have, but we could. But I thought this was really cool and I wanted to try it out. And then the other tip is I buy a lot of stuff from Amazon. And you gotta be really careful on Amazon, especially these days, because 99% of the stuff is just crap. There's review hijacking, merging of products, all the behind the scenes stuff that people do to ship crap to you that isn't very good. I have an extension for my browser called FakeSpot, and it's not the only one like it, but it kind of weeds out all of the fake reviews. It identifies review hijacking, and it sorts your reviews in terms of kind of legitimacy, which is how I found this. Because the first one I looked at on Amazon looked exactly like this, except it was shinier. And I thought, great. I looked at it. It had 4,000 plus 5-star reviews, or 4.5 5-star reviews. I almost bought it. It was Amazon sponsored. It was Amazon recommended. And it was Amazoned everything. But then when I dug into the reviews, and the first couple looked legit, but then the third one said, I love my blender. And I was like, this is kind of single purpose. I can't see blending anything with this. I mean, maybe if you took this part and went really, really fast, you could blend. But the game was really up when the 6th or 7th review said, I love my camera. And I love cameras too, but you're not taking a picture with this. So I found it sorted by FakeSpot. I found the good version, and yeah, sorry about that, guys. I know that's a high-pitched noise. I will figure out how to deal with that in a second. But not right now. You know what would help, maybe? All right. Let's just try a little olive oil in here and see if that... No, that didn't help, did it? Maybe this will, like... There we go. See? It's amazing what you can do with a little lube. Okay. So now that we have everything... Now we're functioning like a well-oiled machine here. Let's... Exactly. I actually... Don't laugh. I have WD-40 in this cupboard right behind me because all my leather working stuff is up there. I almost got that out and realized that's not food safe. Okay. Let's get into the cooking though, because I want to do falafel with you guys tonight. And the first thing we're going to do is make a... let's make the tahini first. We're going to make a tahini sauce. You could just use... Exactly. And especially, Ellie, for cameras, I have a WD-40 product. It's a contact cleaner, which I use for my cameras because I buy I buy old, used cameras. And I tell you, a shot of that fixes like 99% of the problems I've had with them. Okay, we're getting sidetracked. Let's do the tahini yogurt mix. And we're going to use tahini yogurt, and a couple of lemons. Let's do some lemons. You can make whatever sauce you want here. You could just spoon in hummus. But I decided that I wanted to use up the yogurt in the fridge, so we're going to do this. And I'm going to go with 2 lemons. Very technical measure of 2 lemons. Sorry, Serena. It's technically a tahini sauce. So it's tahini plus. Yeah, I know. Let me just precursor. Ooh, these are really juicy lemons. Okay. Oh, and I have another tip and another thing we got to make up. See, I'm just full of tips tonight. I think taking a week off was good. I got to tell you, like, I do feel good about the bi-weekly schedule for me. I have a huge list now of streams I want to do. And we got a cocktail this week. We got tips. We got 2 cool things. And yeah, I think it was the right thing to do. Okay, let's get into this. Excuse me. I want about 1/3 of a cup of each of each of these guys. So about 1/3 of a cup of yogurt. It's good. As always, I'm using the highest possible fat yogurt that I could find, which in this case was only 5%, which is a little disappointing, but it's not a perfect world either. Okay. So good. And now we're going to season this, and we're going to get to another tip. Oh my God. Okay, that's all we need for the yogurt tonight. Let's give this a little whisk here. Okay, this is much thinner than actually. So I do want this to like sit inside I'm going to do falafel in a pita. And actually that's pretty good. So this is the kind of thing, if you were doing it for like service for a restaurant, you would put this consistency in a squeeze bottle, just like they do in falafel places, and shoot it into the pita. I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to add a little bit of yogurt here. I just want a little more in here. I want it just a little bit thicker. So there we go. Just to make it a little more, there we go. That's what I want to see. So as always, guys, like, you got to use your eyes and your senses to just, when things are right, you'll know. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so tahini sauce is done. Now, since I was out, I want to season this, actually. Wow, we took a slightly perverse turn tonight. Was it my lube comment that started all of this? Anyway, I am out of the seasoning blend. So I have a generic seasoning blend I use by the stove when I just want to add a little bit of everything to a dish, okay? And I'll show you guys how I make it. It's not a secret. It is 3 parts salt. I'm using tablespoons here. So 3 tablespoons of salt. Now I used to do, this is sugar. I used to do a full part of sugar. I'm cutting it back a bit. So this is like a scant tablespoon of sugar. And 1 tablespoon of MSG. Okay, and that becomes my, now I still use salt, of course, as a seasoning. But when I want to just throw some flavor into something, make it pop a little bit, and I don't want to like go looking, because you can use soy for the flavor and everything else. Sometimes you just want like a little salt, and you want an umami pop and a little sweetness. And I think this is sort of, and you can mix, mess around with your own spice blend. But I'm just going to go with a little bit of this in our sauce. I think we're good. Okay, any questions on the tahini sauce? Because we're going to get into a hot chili sauce next. I will count backwards from, I'm not going to count backwards, who am I kidding? I'll wait for a sec. No, we're good. Okay. So the chili, we're going to do a tomato chili sauce, a traditional Lebanese style chili sauce. We're going to do this in the mini, oh, you can't see it. Can I bring it over so you can see it? Hang on. I wonder if I should put myself on the bottom left or something tonight. I get used to seeing myself up on the top left there. Okay, this is going to be a mini chop thing. So, yeah, I was wondering about that too, Ellie. I mean, tahini is just ground sesame seeds. There's no other ingredients. Maybe it needed a shake? That'd be embarrassing, wouldn't it? Let's see. We're all about the research tonight. I mean, it's a little thicker, but it's kind of, oh, so you guys can't see. It's a little thicker, but it's kind of the same. So I don't know. I mean, tahini is, I've made this, you can make this from scratch really easily. It's just sesame seeds. That's it. 100% pure sesame seeds. and you blitz it up. What are there other ingredients in this thing? Sometimes they add a couple other things, but I love when they say gluten-free on something that would never possibly have gluten in it. That's it. The only ingredients, ground sesame seeds. So there you go. Nope, that's it. Anyway, I guess we got a light version. So I want about half this can of tomatoes, and just forget my fingers here. I don't really want the juice yet. Yeah, see, that's the thing, right? So I'm going to use some of the juice in a sec, but I'm going to start with just the tomatoes for consistency. Let's see where we get to. We're going to add some spices here. I want some cilantro, so I got to move this off to the side, guys. Some of the cilantro is going to go in here. Maybe like half a cup. I'm gonna have to make sure I have enough left for the falafel too. That's about right. I want some garlic in there. Just here. And by the way, I'm doing all of this from scratch tonight, guys. Just the way I would do it. I kind of want to. I mean, one of the things I always want to show is that. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. See, stream is making sense. Kind of want to show you guys just like how I do it on a weeknight. You know, when I first started doing the streams, I had everything like all prepped in advance, and that was fun too. Like, you know, and I do organize. Like, I don't just like start cooking without getting everything out of the fridge and stuff. But I think it's important to show like how easy this is to do and how little time it takes. So I want about a tablespoon of this is red wine vinegar, which never even made it into any kind of squeeze bottle. Cumin. I want a teaspoon of cumin. Oh, slow down. Okay, what did I say? Cumin? Did I say coriander? As you can see, all my spice containers match. They're all homogeneous. I want some smoked paprika in there. Again, from the matching set. I'm going to do a little bit less smoked paprika. So it turns out really good paprika is actually quite strong tasting. I was used to the crap you buy in the grocery store. And I got this from a really good spice merchant, and it's quite strong. Again, I'm going to throw in some of my, just a little pinch of my seasoning. Oh, that was salt, actually. Pinch of my seasoning blend. A couple tablespoons. Oh, the other thing, too, I wanted to talk about real quick. You'll notice I don't have my olive oil, and olive oil is something I use all the time. I don't have it in a squeeze bottle. Why? Because olive oil degrades with exposure to light. So your olive oil container needs to be opaque. And I guess I could have wrapped a squeeze bottle in gaff tape, but this was a present from our friend Amara, and I really like this olive oil thing, so there you go. Now for spice, that's 2 tablespoons of olive oil, by the way. So for spice, you could just add up straight, am I talking fast? I'm a little amped tonight. I'll slow down. I'll have a sip of a cocktail here. For spice, I would normally add a couple tablespoons of red pepper flakes, but I have this leftover spice paste from the past stream. I don't even remember what it was. So I'm going to throw some of that in instead of the red pepper flakes. That'll give us our heat, and I'll taste it in a sec. And I am going to, I don't think this is that loud. Tell me if this kills you guys. Yes, it was the dosa. Is that really loud on your end? Somebody just tell me. Okay, I'm going to shut the mic off. Okay, I'm back. I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about the head consistency I was looking for here. I really like this consistency. I wanted this, again, I wanted it squirtable. And I think this is the consistency I want. Everything's nicely blended. And rather than wait to the end, because I do want this to have some kick, so I'm actually just going to give this a little bit of a taste. I didn't bring any tasting spoons down. Normally I would wait to the end, but... It has amazing flavor, but not nearly enough kick. Yeah, that is not spicy enough. So I'm going to go at least that much again, maybe a little bit more. And now, since that's sort of a thick paste, I'm going to add in a bit of the liquid from the tomatoes, and we're going to reblend it. I'm also completely at the limits of my mini chop here, so I'm going to kill you guys. Oh, I'm going to kill the mic. I'm back. See how that is. Oh yeah. Woo. Much better. That was just delicious. Wow. Really good. Okay. Very happy with that one, guys. Let's get that out of the mini chop. And by the way, tonight, speaking of requiring kitchen gadgets, I know you guys weren't, but I was thinking about it. Tonight will be the night when we figure out if I actually do need to buy a food processor. Because we are going to be... This mini chop has been a great... For 2 people, it's awesome. But I'm making a fair amount of falafel tonight, so we'll see how it goes. Give me a sec. Just make a quick rinse, because we need this going down the road. Okay, so any questions on a quick hot sauce? I mean, ooh, be careful with the... I spilled oil into the deep fryer. You guys are going to be able to hear that in a second. It's oil. I spilled water in the deep fryer. Always be careful with water around your deep fryer. So, we've got our 2 condiments. I'm going to... I guess I can do this now. I'm going to do this now real quick while I have the chopping board out. I'm going to dice in a little, and I know I'm allergic to this stuff, guys, but I do want to add a little, I didn't want to do it that way. I did want to add in some cucumber into my falafel, and I can have like a little bit of this and a little tomato, so. I also have another, in 2 weeks, I have another really cool thing coming, and some good advice too, so you guys want to tune in for that. That's probably going to be enough for one. Let's do this tomato real quick. Again, this is... Oh, I'm not going to cook it. This is just a garnish, Serena. I'm just gonna throw this in like a straight into it raw. Just for some like fresh flavors, and I do like the fresh flavors every now and then. Yeah. Just mix that up. A little tomato, a little cucumber. There we go. Okay, and then I think I can put this away for now. Oh no, we need to chop some garnish for the falafel. Okay, so let's start assembling the falafel. Let's talk a little bit about chickpeas and what you need to do with that. So as much as I love and promote canned vegetables, especially in the off season, canned tomatoes are awesome. Canned everything's awesome. You can't use canned chickpeas for falafel. They just don't have the right texture, and your falafel will be weird, and it won't be good. So, having said that, the one thing you do have to do if you want to make falafel is you either got to get up early in the morning and soak your chickpeas, and you just put them in a container and pour water over the top, or do it the night before. 8 to 24 hours is kind of fine. There are a couple of ways to fast track it. I don't recommend doing it that way. I've never been able to make it work. So if you're gonna make falafel, start the day before. So let me just drain these so you can see what they look like. Okay, so right away, I'll tell you we are going to be doing this half at a time. There's just no way I'm going to get that many chickpeas into the mini chop. So let's divide this. We're going to split this recipe in half tonight. Like, I'm a huge mini chop advocate champion, but I also realize there are limits. That seems about right. Okay, put that aside for now. Okay, so all the ingredients though go into the mini chop first, and let's just run down what those are going to be. We want about 3/4 of a cup of cilantro, and leaves and stems is fine here. So that's about, oh, but I'm cutting in half. What do you think? Do you think that's half of 3/4 of a cup? I think it is. So get some cilantro in there. We want about the same amount of parsley. Yeah, I feel it's good. Maybe a little more parsley. Parsley's really good. There we go. So, any questions as we go through this? I want some onion here too. Where'd my onion go? And again, the nice thing about using a mini chop is, in terms of prep, is you don't really need to like. I don't want to make that much onion. Be too fussy with chopping everything up, right? I could just throw this in. Now I'll give this guy like a head start. Give the mini chop a head start on the onion, but that's all we need to do. We got our onion. What else do we want here? We want some garlic. I think just one will be fine. And just take the little end off. I don't even know if that matters, but I kind of do it. So there you go. Okay, and now we want a teaspoon of coriander. Where'd my coriander go? Here we are. Yeah, Ellie, I'm on the same thing. Like, I don't know if I want to give up the space. And I broke our blender, which is also annoying. So now I have to get a new blender. And we had a good blender too, but it turns out you're not supposed to blend really hot things in it. And the little teeth where the jar sits, well, yeah, melted, broke. I mean, you know, it's kind of the same. Yeah, I misjudged the temperature capacity of it, but to be honest, a blender should be able to handle hot liquids. Okay, so it's not like I was totally out of line. Okay, so this also calls for a little cayenne pepper, which I forgot to bring down. So we are going to spice it up just a little bit because I do want the falafels themselves to have a little kick, but we've got hot sauce if we need it. So I'm going to put that in. And we're going to blend this, and I'm just going to kill the meat. Okay, I'm not getting the consistency I want here yet. I do want a pretty, almost like pesto consistency before I add the... and the reason you don't blend these at the same time, by the way, is you want a pesto consistency for this green mix, but when we add the chickpeas, we want to keep it a little more grainy. And if I put everything in the blender at once, I'm going to blow up the chickpeas. Give me a sec. Yeah, Rebecca, you could probably do that. Okay, so that's kind of the consistency. I don't know if you guys can see. That's kind of the consistency I want. Almost like a pesto-y. Everything well blended. And now we're going to add our chickpeas and cross our fingers. Yeah, this is about right. So this is, I'm hoping this will make about like a dozen chickpea balls. So let's see. Anyway, so now I'm going to blend this. Okay, so I don't know, everybody's blender's a little bit different, but what I was looking for there was the kind of vortex. You know when you're blending something or it's in the food processor and it forms the vortex and continually mixes itself? That's kind of what I was looking for here. That's what I got. You guys probably couldn't see it, but so we're not quite done with this, but this is we're almost done with our falafel mix. So I'm gonna put this in a bowl and I'll show you guys the next step when we get to yet another tip. There we go. I'm gonna be done with the mini chop tonight. Okay. So guys, I'm gonna make a little space here. Bear with me, because this deep fryer is on and it's quite warm. My mini chop's starting to get a little toasty. Okay, so for this next bit, for my next trick, we're gonna do not really a roux. Okay, so you have to add flour. We're gonna add flour and a tiny bit of baking powder to the mix. But that's not really the garnish I want for my drink. So the flour is going to help our falafel stay together. But the thing is, it's not really in the deep fryer long enough that I'm confident it's going to cook out all the flour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my flour here. I've got about, that's about a quarter. Oh, we're doing half the recipe. Shoot. Okay. I'm going to take some of this out. This is 1/8 cup of flour, to which I'm going to add like, I don't know, a tiny bit of water. But that much water. And we're just going to cook it like a roux, just for a couple of minutes. So you'll see this will give us, we're going to do it fast, but this is going to give us a nice, that's not enough water. There we go. So this is going to be our, well, Serena, it's as much as you want to measure, you also kind of have to go like on the consistency you're looking for. So I know what I want this, wow, it's way too hot. I know what I want this paste to look like, and this is not it. It's gotta run a bit. So add a little more water. So I measured the flour. Like I know how much flour I want. And you don't have to go super long on this. I'm gonna turn it down a bit. Just want to give it a little consistency. In fact, I'm gonna switch from this, which is annoying me, to my spatula. Okay, there we go. This is what I'm looking for. It's almost like like a pomade that you would use for meatballs, right? You use a little more water. Okay, I'm surprised at how much water is going in here. But I do want it to be, there we go. That's what I want to see. So I know this seems weird. Maybe this is an extra step, and I know a lot of recipes will just throw the flour straight into the falafel mix. This just kind of ensures that everything has a nice, moist, even texture, and that your flour is always going to be cooked. So that's exactly where I want to be. I want to add a teaspoon of baking powder to this, which is going to add a little bit of a leavening effect and make them a little bit lighter, fluffier-ish. We're going to stir that in. Okay, we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Perfect. You're done. So, any questions on this? This could be a little bit thinner, but now I'm worried about introducing too much moisture into my falafel. So I either have too much flour here for what I wanted, or it's just a different day. So let's fold this in and mix this up. Let's just get screwed in here. I just want to fold that in, make sure everything's nice and mixed up. Yeah. I don't know if you guys can see the falafels. You can, okay, yes. The short answer is yes. The long answer is I have seen variations of this where you can bake them. I'm not confident that you could bake this recipe. You would have to look for a recipe specifically that was kind of designed for baking. You could probably, you know what, you could do these in an air fryer, I bet, which is baking them. Air fryers, like we have a convection oven. This is exactly where I want it to be. Okay, so we have a convection oven, and all an air fryer is a mini convection oven. However, air fryers, like the emphasis is on convection. They move a lot of air over your food in an air fryer, which is kind of how they work, as opposed to a convection oven. So it might work in that. Okay, now for the main event. I got a tray here lined with parchment paper, which I almost never do. It's also really big. Let's trim this guy down a little bit. There we go. Yeah, let's go all the way and just trim this down. There. So, moment of truth. Is the gadget gonna work? You guys can see. So you pull the trigger, pack it in there. So far it's working just the way it should. And we let it go. And there you go. So the other thing too about this that I really, really like, this shape, and I'll show you guys one in a second, is that this is gonna, so not everybody has a deep fryer. I get that. You should have one, but not everybody does. If you were gonna fry these in a pan in like a couple of inches of oil, well, an inch of oil, these are gonna cook way more evenly than if you have a ball. It's fine to drop a ball of falafel in a deep fryer because it's gonna cook just fine, but it's not as easy to do on a stovetop. So I really like the shape of these things. Let's just keep going. That was fun. Oh, no, it came out. There we go. Any questions on this really cool little amazing falafel maker thing? I'm not sure how tightly I should be packing it in. I almost feel like a barista. Like, I know like when you're making espresso shots, the amount of tamping you do is very important. But I feel like I don't want them I don't want to pack it in too much because they'll be super dense. You know what I mean? But so far, the other thing I was worried about with, yeah, Serena, I think they're going to be okay. We're going to find out. Maybe I should fry one and see. Let's just. No, you know what? That's pretty good. The other thing I was concerned about this little gadget was that it would be really cool, but it wouldn't be as good as doing it by hand, or as efficient, or as fast. And I'll tell you right now, I could not roll these into little balls this fast with this consistency. And okay, I don't need my falafel balls to be consistent, but this is, and I think even if I just reach in with it like I just did and use this to finish, I think these are great. Really happy with this. Thing was cheap. This was like 20 bucks. Now, you'd have to make maybe a lot of falafel to make it worthwhile. But these do freeze also, and you can also make these up in advance. Like, you can fry off a whole batch of these and just put them in the freezer and take them out and heat them up whenever you want them. They're good in everything. You don't have to put them in a pita, which I'm going to do tonight. You can do anything you want with them. Okay, I said a dozen, so there's our dozen. I think we're going to have a few more, and I'm going to do them all. Because I am going to fry all these up because I don't want to keep the mix around. One more. I can get one more here. I'm going to cheat and use my hands. Oh, maybe I got two more. We're going to get two more? No, I'm not going to push it. I feel good about what we got done here. Okay. The kitchen gadget is a success. Rock and stone, right, Ellie? I'm pleased with the way these came out. I'm going to fry them. Probably just actually let me make sure I have everything else ready to go before I fry these up. I do want some good pita. I got wonderful pita. We have a little Mediterranean restaurant near us that sells their pita just off the front counter at the hostess station, which is awesome. So I'm gonna just do that. I'll eat this with hummus later. I'm not gonna waste it. But let's just open this guy up. Come on, please. Oh, come on. I know these have a pocket because I ate one of these earlier today. There we go. This is not good for me. Like, you really have to be patient opening up a pita pocket. And it's just not one of my strong suits, I gotta say. Like, there we go. Okay, so there we got our, get down there. Our pita zone. I don't even have a plate. Ooh, yeah, I poked right through it, but it'll be fine. Awesome. I don't have a plate, so I'm just going to eat off the cutting board. Bring you back. Ellie, I am so bad at opening pitas. You have no idea. This is a minor miracle I got this far. Especially the other kind, the Lebanese kind, which I also have here. These much thinner ones. Not a good time to be around me. Anyway, I'm pleased with the way this is going. How many do you think I can get in there? I bet you I can get 5, right? No guts, no glory. I'm going to go with... And how am I going to get them in the oil? Let's figure this out. So, 3. Oh my God, you guys are so conservative. Okay, I'm gonna go with 5, and maybe I gotta fry them up all anyway. I will say, guys, you know, it's okay to be casual around certain things in the kitchen when it's hot, but other things like hot oil, you definitely need to be very conservative and very careful with hot oil. Let's go 755. We want. Well, I was hoping you guys would pick my answer, and then I would look like a genius. Okay, so hopefully these do better than my gnocchi from the weekend. So since we're gonna wait 5 minutes while these cook anyway, I'll tell you my humbling story from the weekend. Our friend Mike, it was his birthday. His favorite food is potatoes, so he had a potato party, and it was a potluck thing. So everybody was supposed to bring. Right, there you go. Everyone was supposed to bring a potato dish, which we all did. I'm gonna need something to scoop the sauce. I'll use this. And so I decided I'd make gnocchi. I haven't made gnocchi in ages, and I had an extra baking potato in the fridge. So I was like, I haven't made it in ages. So the day before, 2 days before, I made up a batch for Serena, and it was great. And then I got into it. I ordered the little gnocchi board, because normally I just use a fork, but I actually got the proper board to put the ridges in. It was all very satisfying, and but I was worried about transporting them to Hamilton. We had to go to Hamilton, so I know you can freeze gnocchi. I looked it up. So I made all my gnocchi all on trays. I put them in the freezer on the trays, and the next day they were all rock hard. Put them in a Ziploc bag, took them to Hamilton. Got a big pot of boiling water, got my tomato sauce. I made a beautiful tomato sauce. Got it all going, got the water going in, put half a dozen gnocchi in the boiling water, and they disintegrated. They melted, dissolved, went the way of all things. I was shocked. I've never seen anything like it. And I still, to this day, have no idea why. I suspect it was the freezing, and I'll have to do a little bit of research. But I think it's important, guys. Like, not everything's going to be... Wow, these look so good. Sorry. Sorry. Not everything is going to go the way you think it's going to go. And I cook a lot, and I was totally not expecting that. Now, it did turn out that I fried them in I browned some butter and fried them in some butter with some sage, and they crisped up okay. They didn't hold their shape. They were more like fried potato dumplings, but according to Mike, they were delicious. So it wasn't a complete failure. And I left them all there because one thing you can use gnocchi for is to top like shepherd's pie or fish pie, or anytime you make a pie and you want a potato topping, you can just layer the gnocchi on instead of doing like a mashed potato, and it's great. So Gila was very happy to have that. So as I said, not a total disaster, but also humbling, and I don't think that's a bad thing. And it's important to realize that's gonna happen when you cook. You know, you're gonna have missteps. You're gonna have things that just don't turn out at all, or just don't taste good. You can limit the don't taste good part quite a bit by tasting as you go and using high quality ingredients. But every once in a while, you're gonna screw it up. And that's totally okay. These look so good. I'm so excited. I gotta tell you guys. I want to show you just the color. Like, look at that. Yeah. I'm gonna lay these out on the counter. I think these are done, by the way, guys. I know I said we were gonna go 5 minutes, but these aren't the biggest. Well, I guess we'll go the whole way. We'll know in a second, right? Also, after the weekend, I'm just happy to have something work. I think I'm going to put them in first, Serena, and then drizzle the sauces over top of everything. Okay, 7:55. We're good. It reminds me of the story of... I mean, there's a million Tony Hawk stories, but recently he was talking about... he's my age. Tony Hawk is my age. But he was out with his skateboard, and somebody just who had no idea who he was yelled, "Do a kickflip." And this was an interview I saw with him. And he did it. He did a kickflip. And the buddy turned to his friend. He's like, holy shit, he actually did it. And the interviewer was asking Tony Hawk, he's like, how did you feel about the whole experience about, being not recognized and doing a kickflip and whatever. And he's like, honestly, I was just happy to land it the first try. So there you go. Okay, I don't have tongs, so I'm going to go really fast. I do want to show you these though. Can you guys see? How am I going to show you? What am I here? I'll use my little kitchen tweezers. Just have a look at the color on this thing. It is wonderful. Oh, this one doesn't have the green flecks. Come on, where's my green? Oh, the green flecks are gone. So a second ago they had green flecks. But anyway, let's get these in here. And I think you guys are right. I think 5 is incredibly ambitious. I think 4 is going to be right. I'm going to go with a little tomato and just a little. You guys can obviously put more cucumber and tomato in yours because you're not allergic to it. I'm going to go with a good helping of garlic. So I'm just going to let that run down in there. Yeah. And I don't want to use the same spoon for the hot sauce. So I really should have planned the whole serving spoon thing a little better. I got a good dollop of hot sauce in there. Get it down in there. You definitely win leftovers. There's going to be tons of leftovers. Okay. So here we go, guys. Moment of truth. Wait, can I get a 5th one in here? Haha, see? No guts, no glory. Mash it in there. All right. Cheers, guys. So, so good. Look at the inside color. Come on, focus. It's amazing, vibrant, fresh. It tastes like it was grown. You know what, guys? It tastes like it was grown. No, it's not spicy. It's hot, but not temperature hot. It tastes like it was grown in a garden. It tastes like I went out to the garden, to the falafel plant, and I picked off 5 falafels and I brought them inside and cooked them. Oh my God. Oh, the sauce is so good. Again, there's a color. Focus. Come on, camera. There you go. A little red in there. Okay, I'm thrilled with this, guys. I'm really happy. This tastes great. I could eat this every day. So, I definitely think this is something everybody should try. Because although we did a little condiment, you don't have to make hot sauce. Buy hot sauce. You don't have to make tahini sauce, although that was really easy. Yeah, and exactly. We did all this. I made 2 sauces from scratch and the condiments and the falafel. We did it all under an hour. I made a cocktail. We talked about, we talked about tips and kitchen gadgets and everything, and we're still under an hour. But the falafels, these guys themselves. Okay, this is one of my favorite things I've made in a long time. The actual falafels themselves, you could make this in 10 minutes, start to finish, with a food processor. And a falafel scoop. I don't know where it went. The falafel scoop was really cool. You can get it on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below. I keep saying that. I really wish I could do that. I wish I knew how to do that. But no, just if anybody wants the link, I'll set it. Yes, minus the soaking time. You do have to plan for a day in advance. Well, the exterior is so good. And the amazing thing about this, guys, there's no coating. There's no breading on this. It just develops this amazing crusty exterior and yummy interior. It's just great. Okay. Cannot stop eating this. Okay, guys. I'll hang around for a couple questions. Oh, Ellie, how did it go? I do want to hear about that. I'm making it on Saturday for Nick and my son. I'll hang around until you have a chance to respond. Oh, I'm so glad. That makes me happy. Oh, this is really good. Yeah, I mean, make it your own, Ellie. You can put whatever you want in it, right? So good. Okay, guys. I'll stop going on about how good this is. I'll see everybody in 2 weeks. Maybe we'll get to Africa. I got a list of stuff I want to do. I'm going to pick what I feel like doing that week. And we'll have another cool thing for you and some other advice. Everybody have an amazing evening, and I'll see you all next week.